Hi everyone, welcome to Rainy Day Crochet. Today in this video I'm going to teach you the corner to corner method of crochet. This method is sometimes also referred to as a graphghan. It's a really fun method because you can make a lot of fun designs and patterns using it. So before we get started, I'd like to go over the supplies I'm going to be using in this video. I'm going to be using two different colors of yarn. So these are both in the Aran weight yarn. And with that, I'm using a size 5mm hook. And then you also want some scissors and a tapestry needle for sewing in your ends. So before we get started, I'm going to show you the graph that we're going to be creating for this project. So I went ahead and made this, and what we're looking at here is a perfect square. So I'm going to go over how to do rectangles and corner to corner in another video, but today we'll just be making a square. And so the way that you read this in corner to corner is you start in this lower right corner on this single block. And we'll be reading it going like this. So we'll go down row 1 and we're going to come back up row 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until we get to the upper left corner where we'll finish. And one thing to note, and this will make more sense as we go, is that each square represents what I like to refer to as like a block in the corner to corner. So I have a little sample here of what we're going to be making. So if we line this up here, this square here is our row 1. And that is equivalent to a chain 3 and 3 double crochets. Okay, I'm going to grab my red yarn and go ahead and create a slip knot and put it on my hook. And to start with corner to corner, you're going to chain 6. So there we have our chain 6. And the way that this works is we're going to look for the 4th chain from our hook. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 right there, and we're going to work a double crochet into that chain right there. So we got our first double crochet, and then we're going to go ahead and work double crochets into the next 2 chains. So again, for double crochet, you're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that is row 1. So let's go ahead and look at how we start a new row. So at the beginning of every increasing row, you're always going to be chaining 6. So we'll go ahead and chain 6 again. And just like before, we are going to double crochet into that 4th chain from the hook. So yarn over, insert into that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and we'll just continue into the next 2 chains. And so this next part is where things get a little bit different. So we need to attach this to our row 1. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to flip this, the row 1, so that our chain 3 in that block is at the top. And then what we're going to do is we're going to insert our hook into that chain 3 space and do a slip stitch. So now we've attached to row 1. And we're going to make one more block. So we're going to go ahead and chain 3 and then work 3 double crochets into that same chain 3 space. There's 1, 2, and 3. So there we have rows 1 and 2. And so we're going to be working one more row in red. And this is basically going to be exactly like we just did this last row, but we're going to be adding one more block. So each row is going to be increasing by 1 block. So we'll go ahead and chain 6. Then we'll double crochet into that 4th chain from the hook. And double crochet into the next 2 chains. And then again, we're going to be turning over the remaining work here. So go ahead and flip this over. So then that chain 3 is facing the top, and then we're going to slip stitch into that like we did before. And then again, we'll chain 3, and then three more double crochets into that same chain 3 space. And so this is just basically the pattern we're gonna follow for all of our increased rows. So there's the 3 double crochets, and then again, slip stitch into that next chain 3 space, chain 3, and then 3 more double crochet into that same chain 3 space. Okay, and there's row 3. So if we go ahead and look at our graph again, you can see that we've completed that red section right there. And so now we're going to be increasing for one more row, for row 4, but we're going to be switching over to blue. So I'm going to show you how we're going to change colors when working in an increase. And then again, when we get to row 6, I'm going to show you how changing colors works in a decrease, because it's a little bit different. So we'll go ahead and attach the blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to backtrack on this last double crochet. So you want to get that double crochet worked. So there's 2 loops on your hook, and I'll go ahead and grab my blue yarn. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring the yarn over my hook like this. Some people will sometimes do a slip knot here. I personally prefer not to do that. I think on some projects you can see it, so I don't like to do it, but you can definitely do that if it feels more secure to you. So go ahead and slip that over, and then we're going to just pull it through those 2 loops, and that's basically it. So you just want to do it, if you're working like rows like this where you're changing at the end of the row, you just want to make sure you do it through the last 2 loops of your last double crochet. And then again, we're just going to keep repeating the same pattern that we've been doing. So we're going to chain 6 and then double crochet into that 4th chain, and then double crochet into the next 2. We'll go ahead and flip our work. And I'm actually really quickly going to trim off the red because I didn't do that yet. And then getting back to our work, we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into that chain 3 space, chain 3, 3 double crochet, so this is the last of our increase rows, and we're going to go ahead and start decreasing. To decrease, so let's look at our chart one more time. So we just worked row 4, and so that had 4 blocks, and then row 5 is going to have 3. So we're going to start decreasing by 1 block each row. And to do that, at the beginning of your next row, I'm going to go ahead and flip. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into the top of the 3 double crochets, and then another slip stitch into the chain 3 space. So go ahead and do that. And then you just basically continue on as you have been before. So go ahead and chain 3, and then 3 double crochet into the chain 3 space. All we're going to do is slip stitch into this last square, and that's it. So you can see here that we have 4 blocks in this row, and then we just have 3 in this one. So you can see that we've decreased by 1. And then we're gonna switch back to red for the last 2 rows. So I'm gonna go ahead and, actually I'm not gonna trim yet, because what we have to do is do the slip stitches into the top of these 3 double crochet, and then slip stitch into the chain 3 space, and then we're going to switch to red here. So I'm going to trim the blue off now. And we're done with the blue. Go ahead and grab the red again. So go ahead and bring your yarn over your hook and pull it through the loop, and then just chain 3. I just like to make sure that this isn't too loose. And then just continue how we have been. So go ahead and do 3 double crochet, and we'll slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. And we'll slip stitch into this chain 3, and that's the end of row, what is this, row 6. So we just have row 7 and we'll be done. So again, flip it over and slip stitch in the top of those 3 double crochets and into the chain 3 space. So, and then we'll chain 3 and 3 double crochet. And then just slip stitch into this chain 3 space here. And that's it. We'll go ahead and trim our yarn. And that's it. So that is how you do corner to corner crochet. You can go ahead and sew in your ends if you want to, but I know this is just a little sample swatch, but I hope this tutorial helped you. I think that corner to corner is some of the most fun I've ever had with crochet, so I really hope that you enjoy it too. See you around.